Are you struggling to get up from a chair without using your hands, feeling unsteady when you walk, losing your balance when you bend down to tie your shoes, or noticing that your strength just isn't what it used to be? What if I told you that 6 simple daily movements could restore your balance, rebuild your strength, and naturally boost your testosterone levels all at the same time? And here's the shocking part. Most men over 50 don't realize the exercises you're probably doing right now might actually be making your balance worse and accelerating muscle loss instead of preventing it. Hi, my name is Dr. Paul Johnson, and I've spent the past 10 years helping men over 50 reclaim their vitality, strength, and independence through evidence-based movement strategies. I've watched hundreds of patients come through my office feeling defeated, convinced that poor balance, muscle loss, and declining testosterone were just inevitable consequences of aging that they had to accept. But here's what the research actually shows, and what I've witnessed firsthand in my practice when men over 50 perform the right daily movements consistently, movements that challenge their balance, engage their largest muscle groups, and create the metabolic stress their bodies are designed to respond to. They can experience remarkable transformations, including improved balance that reduces fall risk by up to 24%, restored testosterone levels that can increase by 15 to 20%, rebuilt muscle mass that reverses years of decline, enhanced functional strength for everyday activities, better posture and mobility, sharper mental clarity, and renewed confidence in their physical capabilities. Now, before we dive into these 6 powerful daily movements, I want to be clear about something. Everything I'm sharing is educational information and shouldn't replace personalized advice from your own healthcare provider. Always check with your doctor before starting any new exercise program, especially if you have existing health conditions. I remember when Arthur, a 65-year-old retired teacher, came to see me after experiencing 2 falls within a month that left him absolutely terrified of moving around his own home. His testosterone was sitting at just 280 nanograms per deciliter. He'd lost almost 20 pounds of muscle mass over the previous 5 years, and his balance had deteriorated so badly that he could barely stand on one leg for more than a few seconds. After implementing the exact 6-movement protocol I'm about to share with you, his balance improved so dramatically that he could stand on one leg for over 30 seconds. His testosterone increased to 360 nanograms per deciliter, and he told me with tears in his eyes that he felt safe and confident in his body for the first time in years. Let me explain the science behind why these specific daily movements work so powerfully for balance, strength, and testosterone production. Research examining fall prevention in older adults found that multi-component exercise programs that include balance training can reduce falls by up to 28%, making them one of the most effective prevention strategies available. But here's what makes this even more powerful. When you combine balance-focused movements with compound exercises that engage multiple large muscle groups, you get a dual benefit. The balance work improves your stability and reduces fall risk, while the strength component triggers hormonal responses that support testosterone production and muscle growth. A comprehensive study on resistance training in older men found that exercises activating large muscle groups released growth hormones, which helped stimulate protein production in a similar way to testosterone. The key is performing these movements daily, because consistency is what creates lasting adaptation in your neuromuscular system, your balance mechanisms, and your hormonal environment. The first daily movement that should become the foundation of your routine is the bodyweight squat. And this exercise is absolutely exceptional because it simultaneously builds lower body strength, challenges your balance, and triggers testosterone production. Squats engage your quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and core all at once, creating the perfect metabolic demand that forces your body to respond with increased hormone production. Research on compound exercises found that movements like squats produce significantly greater increases in both testosterone and growth hormone compared to isolated machine-based movements. Here's how to perform a proper bodyweight squat. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart and your toes pointing slightly outward. Keep your chest up and your core engaged. Push your hips back as if you're sitting into a chair, then bend your knees to lower down. Keep your weight in your heels and your knees tracking in line with your toes. Lower until your thighs are parallel to the floor or as deep as your mobility comfortably allows without your lower back rounding. Drive through your heels to return to standing, squeezing your glutes hard at the top. Start with 2 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions every single morning and gradually progress to 3 sets as you get stronger. The beauty of bodyweight squats is that you can do them anywhere, anytime, and they build the fundamental leg strength you need for every daily activity, from standing up to climbing stairs. By the way, if you're finding this information valuable and you want to make sure you never miss content that could genuinely improve your balance, strength, and testosterone levels, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to Paul Johnson, Senior Secrets, and turn on notifications. I share evidence-based strategies like this every week, specifically designed for men over 50 who are serious about maintaining their independence and vitality as they age. The second critical daily movement is the single leg balance, and this exercise is incredibly powerful because it directly addresses one of the main reasons men over 50 fall: the inability to maintain stability on one leg. Every time you walk, climb stairs, or step over something, you're momentarily balancing on one leg, so training this specific skill is essential for fall prevention. Studies examining balance interventions found that single-leg stance exercises significantly improved balance performance and reduced fall rates in older adults. Here's how to perform the single-leg balance safely and effectively. Stand near a sturdy countertop or chair that you can use for light support if needed. Stand with your feet hip-width apart and your weight evenly distributed. Shift your weight to your right leg and lift your left foot just a few inches off the floor. Keep your standing leg slightly bent, not locked out, and engage your core to maintain an upright posture. Hold this position for 10 to 15 seconds initially, focusing on staying steady. Return to standing with both feet, rest for a moment, then repeat on the other leg. Perform 3 sets on each leg every day. As you get stronger and more stable over the coming weeks, gradually increase your hold time to 30 seconds, then eventually to 60 seconds. Once you can comfortably hold for 60 seconds, progress by folding your arms across your chest to remove the visual reference point, and eventually try it with your eyes closed for an even greater challenge. One of my patients, Raymond, a 59-year-old engineer who'd been experiencing increasing difficulty with stairs and uneven surfaces, was shocked at how poorly he performed on the single-leg balance test when we first assessed him. He could barely hold for 5 seconds without grabbing onto something. We started him on this exact daily practice, just holding onto a counter for light support at first. Within 6 weeks of consistent daily practice, he could balance on each leg for 45 seconds without any support, and he reported that walking felt completely different, more stable and confident than it had in years. At this point, I need to mention something important. These movements require consistency to produce lasting results. Doing them once or twice won't change anything, but making them part of your daily routine for weeks and months will transform your balance, strength, and hormonal health. The third daily movement is the glute bridge, and this exercise is absolutely essential for men over 50 because it strengthens your posterior chain, protects your lower back, and maintains power in your hips, all of which are critical for healthy aging and testosterone production. The glutes are the largest muscle group in your body, and when you engage them under load, you trigger a significant hormonal response. Here's the proper technique for a glute bridge. Lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, positioned hip-width apart and close enough that you can almost touch your heels with your fingertips. Tighten your core and press your lower back gently into the floor. Drive through your heels to lift your hips upward, creating a straight line from your knees through your hips to your shoulders. Squeeze your glutes as hard as you can at the top position, holding for 2 full seconds. Avoid arching your lower back excessively. The power should come entirely from your glutes and hamstrings. Slowly lower your hips back to the floor with control. Perform 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions every day. As this becomes easier, you can progress to single-leg glute bridges or add a pause at the top position for greater challenge. Speaking of which, if you're getting real value from these practical, science-backed daily movements, I'd love it if you could hit the like button and share this video with other men who might benefit from this information. The more we spread evidence-based knowledge about maintaining balance, strength, and testosterone naturally, the more men we can help stay independent and vital as they age. And make sure you stay subscribed to Paul Johnson, Senior Secrets, because I release new content every week designed to help you optimize your health after 50. The fourth daily movement is the standing march in place, and this exercise is incredibly valuable because it improves core stability, enhances single-leg balance while moving, and builds the leg strength necessary to avoid the shuffling gait that many older adults develop. Research on fall prevention found that marching exercises increased core stability and improved balance performance in one-leg movements. Here's how to perform marching in place correctly. Stand tall with your feet slightly apart and your arms relaxed at your sides. You can stand near a wall or countertop for extra support if needed. Engage your core and maintain an upright posture throughout the movement. Lift your right knee up toward your chest, raising it as high as comfortable while keeping your left leg straight and stable. Place your right foot back down with control, then immediately lift your left knee toward your chest. Continue alternating legs in a steady, controlled rhythm, almost like an exaggerated walking motion. March in place for 30 to 60 seconds, focusing on lifting your knees high and maintaining perfect posture. Perform 3 sets every day, resting 30 to 60 seconds between sets. The key is controlling each movement rather than rushing through the repetitions, as this builds better balance and neuromuscular coordination. I recently had a patient named Leonard, a 72-year-old retired contractor, who came to me frustrated because he'd noticed he was shuffling his feet when he walked, which made him feel old and unstable. His testosterone levels were low at 260 nanograms per deciliter, and he'd completely stopped exercising because he was afraid of falling. We started him on these 6 daily movements, beginning with very basic versions and focusing on perfect form. After 4 months of consistent daily practice, not only had his shuffling gait completely disappeared and been replaced by a confident normal walking pattern, but his testosterone had increased to 355 nanograms per deciliter, and he told me he felt 20 years younger. The 5th daily movement is the step-up, and this exercise is particularly powerful because it mimics real-life movements like climbing stairs while building balance, coordination, and single-leg strength all at once. Step-ups engage your quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and core while forcing each leg to work independently, which addresses strength imbalances and enhances stability. Here's the proper technique for a safe and effective step-up. Stand facing a sturdy step, box, or the bottom stair in your home. Start with a relatively low step, about 4 to 6 inches high, and progress to higher steps as you get stronger. Place your right foot completely on the step with your entire foot flat, not just your toes. Push through your right heel to lift your body upward, bringing your left foot up to meet your right foot on the step. The power should come entirely from your right leg, not from pushing off with your left foot. Step back down with control, leading with your left foot, then your right. Complete 10 to 12 repetitions with your right leg leading, then switch and do 10 to 12 repetitions with your left leg leading. Perform 2 to 3 sets on each leg every day. As this becomes easier, progress to a higher step or hold light dumbbells at your sides for added resistance. The 6th and final daily movement is the plank, and this exercise is absolutely critical because it strengthens your entire core, which stabilizes your spine, improves every other movement you perform, and supports healthy testosterone production. A strong core is the foundation of balance and stability, and research has shown that core strengthening exercises significantly reduce injury risk in daily movements. Here's how to perform a proper plank. Start on your hands and knees. Place your forearms on the floor with your elbows aligned directly under your shoulders. Extend your legs behind you and tuck your toes under so your body is supported by your forearms and toes. Engage your core as if you're bracing for someone to punch you in the stomach, and keep your body in a straight line from your head to your heels. Avoid letting your hips sag toward the floor or pike upward. Keep your neck neutral by looking at the floor about a foot in front of your hands. Breathe steadily throughout the hold, never holding your breath. Hold this position for 20 to 30 seconds initially, then gradually work up to 60 seconds as you get stronger. Perform 2 to 3 sets every day, resting 60 seconds between holds. If holding a full plank is too challenging initially, you can modify by dropping to your knees while still maintaining a straight line from your head to your knees, then progress to the full plank as your core strength improves. Now let me share the critical mistakes that sabotage most men's results, and I want to make absolutely sure you avoid these pitfalls. The first major mistake is doing these movements sporadically, instead of making them a non-negotiable daily habit. Your balance, strength, and hormonal systems respond to consistent stimulation, so doing them twice one week and then skipping the next 3 weeks won't produce any lasting changes. The second mistake is rushing through the movements without focusing on proper form and control. Quality always trumps quantity, so 10 perfectly executed squats are far more valuable than 20 sloppy repetitions. The third mistake is never progressing the difficulty as you get stronger. Your body adapts to stress, so once an exercise becomes easy, you need to increase the challenge by adding repetitions, increasing hold times, or progressing to more difficult variations. The fourth mistake is ignoring pain signals from your body. Muscle fatigue during exercise is normal and expected, but sharp pain in your joints or unusual discomfort means you need to modify the movement or consult with a healthcare provider. The fifth mistake is doing these movements in isolation without addressing other aspects of health like nutrition, sleep, and stress management. These movements are incredibly powerful, but they work best as part of a comprehensive approach to healthy aging. Here's your practical implementation plan to start today and make these 6 movements a permanent part of your daily routine. Every single morning, right after you wake up and before breakfast, perform this complete sequence, which will take you about 10 to 15 minutes total. Start with 2 sets of 10 bodyweight squats, focusing entirely on perfect form. Then do 3 sets of single leg balance holds on each leg, starting with 10 to 15 seconds per leg. Next, perform 3 sets of 12 glute bridges, squeezing hard at the top of each repetition. After that, do 3 sets of 30-second marching in place, lifting your knees high and maintaining perfect posture. Then complete 2 sets of 10 step-ups on each leg using a low step initially. Finally, finish with 2 sets of 20 to 30-second planks. Write this sequence on a card and place it somewhere you'll see it every morning as a reminder. Track your performance in a simple notebook, recording how many repetitions you completed, how long you held each position, and how you felt during the workout. This data will help you see your progress over time and know exactly when to increase the difficulty. After 2 weeks of consistent daily practice, if you're feeling strong and your form is excellent, increase to 3 sets of each exercise and gradually lengthen your hold times on the balance and plank movements. The beautiful thing about these 6 daily movements is their elegant simplicity combined with their extraordinary effectiveness for balance, strength, and testosterone optimization. You don't need expensive gym memberships, fancy equipment, or complicated programs that confuse and overwhelm you. Just your body, a small amount of floor space, and maybe a step or sturdy box are completely sufficient to transform your balance, rebuild your strength, and naturally restore your testosterone levels. These movements work because they engage multiple large muscle groups to trigger hormonal responses. They specifically train the balance and stability systems that prevent falls. They build functional strength that directly translates to everyday activities like standing up, climbing stairs, and walking confidently. They can be safely performed at home and progressively scaled as you get stronger, and they address the root causes of declining balance and testosterone rather than just treating symptoms. One more thing before we finish. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What's your biggest challenge when it comes to maintaining your balance, strength, and vitality after 50? Are you dealing with poor balance that makes you feel unsteady, muscle loss that's affecting your daily activities, low energy that makes everything feel harder, or just confusion about what exercises are actually safe and effective for men over 50? Drop a comment right now and let me know your specific situation, because your feedback helps me create content that addresses the real struggles you're facing every day. And of course, make sure you're subscribed to Paul Johnson, Senior Secrets, and that notifications are turned on so you don't miss any upcoming videos where I'll be diving deeper into nutrition for testosterone, sleep optimization, stress management, and other evidence-based strategies designed specifically for men over 50. Remember this critical truth: declining balance, muscle loss, and low testosterone are not inevitable consequences of aging that you just have to accept. They're largely the result of physical inactivity, lack of targeted daily movement, poor nutrition, inadequate sleep, and chronic stress, all of which can be addressed through the right approach. The 6 daily movements I've shared with you today: the bodyweight squat for lower body strength and testosterone, the single leg balance for stability and fall prevention, the glute bridge for posterior chain strength and hip power, the standing march for dynamic balance and coordination, the step up for functional leg strength, and the plank for core stability, form the complete foundation of a program that has helped hundreds of my patients restore their balance, rebuild their strength, naturally increase their testosterone levels, and feel confident and capable in their bodies again. You have far more control over your balance, strength, and hormonal health than you probably realize. The research is absolutely clear. The results I've witnessed in my practice over 10 years confirm it completely, and the opportunity to transform your situation is right in front of you at this moment. It's time to stop accepting decline as normal and start taking consistent daily action to reclaim the balance, strength, and vitality that are rightfully yours. Your best years don't have to be behind you. They can start right now, today, with these 6 simple but incredibly powerful daily movements.